I got a feeling. I got a feeling, brothers. I got a feeling that somebody's trying to sneak in my frat, and it ain't gonna be no shit like that.
Air horns haven't gone anywhere. The air horns have not gone anywhere. We are here. Y'all hear the music. This isn't quite the fellas, but Julius made me put it on. I'm sorry, the Juicer made me put it on. Welcome. I'm your boy, B. Bond, and welcome to the inaugural episode of In the Cut featuring the Noops.
Oh,
That's what we said, right? The Noops?
yeah.
All right. So, welcome. Listen, this is exciting. Y'all see the three of us on the top of the screen. Y'all see B Bond. Y'all see B Money. Today, he put his full-grown government name there, Brandon. And then you see Juicer over here. We had a conversation, and we were like, you know what? We need an outlet. We need something where the three of us could bring in some special guests and kind of do some things, some one-offs, and talk to some people. And Juice came up with this great idea of doing like this fitness episode. And I was like, talk to me about it, man. What you want to do? What you want to do? We got to talking. He said, Q, our guy, the noopity snoop of all time. You know what I'm saying? The three club of all three clubs. Nah, I can't say that. Dre's my shit. The second three club of all three clubs. He was like, we got to get him. I said, bet. I said, we need some ladies too, because, you know, if we're going to talk fitness, you know, there's a stigma out there with ladies in fitness. And he was like, I got two of those too. He said, you remember Des? I said, yeah, I know Des. She done dyed her hair blue now. You know what I'm saying? She look a little different. I said, well, yeah, I remember Des. He said, well, she got a friend. Her name is Katie. And they be getting it in too. I was like, there we go. We shot some text messages, did what we had to do, and we are here. So welcome. Everyone, welcome. I'm going to go down the list. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce themselves, and I'm going to give some stats and some stuff. So I'm going to start with the left-hand corner. B Money, what's up, bro? How you doing?
What's up, man? Blessed. You know what I'm saying? Happy to be here around so many amazing people. I'll leave right there so we can go and get into it.
All right, Juicer, how you feeling, bro?
Hey man, the usual. You know, I'm blessed and highly favored. I can't complain. It's a nice day out in LA. Spent the weekend in Malibu. Too much money, but I'm back home, back to real life.
All right. And Q, I would normally go to you next, but we got ladies in the room, bro. Ladies first. Katie, how you doing?
Doing really well. Thank you for having me on. Super excited for the topic today. I'm really glad to be representing the ladies out there. So glad to be on. Glad to be here.
And Miss Des, only gains in the building. How you doing?
Hey guys, it's finally nice to meet back up with you and, you know, do this again and talk about something that, you know, we've been trying to perfect and just keep continually be motivated and stuff. So I'm looking forward to the topic today. Thank you for having me.
All right. And last but certainly not least, my guy Q, Mr. Pontarius. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I appreciate y'all inviting me.
All right.
Me on, man. It's gonna be a fun show.
All right. Well, as you can see, we have some esteemed guests here. I'm gonna give y'all some stuff about them. And And just so y'all know that we know what we're talking about here. And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, I said it like twice already. We talking fitness. We talking working out. We talking only gains. We talking pumping iron. We talking getting right, eating right, taking care of the number one thing, your temple. You know what I'm saying? That's what we talking about tonight. And so we got a few guests that have been doing this for a really long time. I have Q stats here, but I'm gonna go back a little further than that. So my guy in the middle here, Q, you know what I'm saying, has been a wrestler all his life. In high school, state champ, you know what I'm saying, came to McKendree University, was kicking butt, taking names there. You know what I'm saying? From there, all of a sudden, I just started seeing these videos of this dude posting, you know, looking buff as all get out, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe it's my eyes. The friends I've had to bury. They keep me up at night. Said I couldn't love someone, 'cause I might break. If you're gonna die, not by mistake. Remember not to get too close to stars. They're never gonna give you love like ours. Or maybe it's my eyes. The friends I've had to bury.
Q has become a natural bodybuilder, man. He has his pro card since 2012, all natural organization. If you look him up on Instagram, you will see that he's actually hosting his own natural bodybuilding shows right now. My man just got back from Florida. His next show is going to be at Harris-Stowe State University in St. Louis. He is doing big things. This man is the man when it comes to weightlifting, man. And I'm telling you, if you think you buff, you ain't seen veins popping out until you seen this man flex. I'm just saying. Next, I'm gonna hit you up first, Des, because we got history. We go way back. So
Okay.
if y'all remember my girl Des, back in the day, she fitty, witty, and mini. You know what I'm saying? There was a video out there that I put out there. She was out there pumping weight, lifting iron. And at that point in time, we had just met and she was talking to me about this thing called jujitsu. And I said, oh Lord, she kicked my ass. Wait a minute. We got to talking. Next thing I know, Des been working out for the past 9 years. Des been putting in work longer than that, but she just started to take it seriously 9 years ago. She eats right. She's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, been doing that for the past 2 years. So fellas, just know that she could kick your ass too. All right. Last but not least, we got Katie, man. Katie is a martial artist. She will beat the living shit out of you. She holds a brown belt in karate. She holds a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. She likes to work out with Des on occasion too. They train together in jiu-jitsu. But all I'm saying is, don't let the small frame of these two ladies fool you. They will flip your ass and put you on your ass. That's how I'm gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? Then on the top row, I'm just a fat guy that just started back working out. I used to run track back in the day. So I used to be physically fit. I used to play football in college. And finally, my boy Juice said, B, that the belly getting a little out of control. You know what I'm saying? It's getting a little out of control. We was in Miami walking down the beach and he said, hey, man, don't ever come back to Miami looking like this again. I said, all right, I got you, brother. So I'm back in the gym. On the left-hand side, we got B Money.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you tell your story, man. This is the first man I know that had a full ride track field scholarship, didn't run no meets.
Hey man, you know, pimp or die. But so yeah, now at the end of the day, man, always grew up fitness. That's just my family, as everybody know by now. Juice being my brother. We always challenge each other. And you know, right now I'm about to start an East Coast, West Coast rivalry. You know what I'm saying? Get that going. Yeah, East Coast gonna win that out, just like you know, DC life. So I mean, that's it. You know, I'm kind of in that same boat. You know, I stayed on it. I love working out, but you know, of course, I know as we get into the show, we'll talk more. It's lifestyle. So we'll get back into that. I'm getting back into my lifestyle, my first love behind God.
All right, Captain America. And the only nigga I know other than Q that still got abs.
Hey, I gotta work for those. I'm over here drinking my coffee now. Because I had too much beer this weekend. But no, yeah, you know, I've been doing this thing for a while. You know, done the All-American track thing and all the other good stuff. And I mean, working out is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. It's not just a hobby. And I know we're going to dive into that a little bit more. So I'm glad that we can finally all get together and have this topic. The fellas, for folks that haven't seen it before, we touched on a lot of hard hitting topics, but fitness isn't something we've actually dove deep into. And it's actually a really big part of my life. So I'm looking forward to the discussion.
All right. Well, first things first, man. Let's just hit them off with the very first question. I'm gonna kick it off to my guy Q first, man, and then we'll go from there. But Q, in your fitness journey, man, what or who got you interested into the fitness life, and why are you the way you are right now?
Man, like you mentioned earlier, I was a high school and collegiate athlete. And I personally didn't want to be one of the people who had it. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to keep it because I had it. So I shortly got into personal training right after college, and from there I got into natural bodybuilding in 2010. And it was one of the things that I couldn't stop once I started. You know what I mean? So it kind of led into me training athletes as well as being one, which then later led into me hosting my own competitions. So yeah, my first trainer was D'Anthony Moore. He got me my first, put me in my first bodybuilding show, and from there, you know, it was sky's the limit. You know, it just kind of took off from there. Kind of like just kept going.
That's what's up. And I noticed your shirt, man. I know we got work to do, man. Rock Body Academy.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that a little bit real quick, bro.
Man, so I started Rock Body Academy back in 2013.
It's a little blurry. Or maybe it's my eyes. The friends I've had to bury, they keep me up at night. Said I couldn't love someone, 'cause I might break. If you're gonna die, not by mistake. Remember not to get too close to stars. They're never gonna give you love like ours. Or maybe it's my eyes.
Now, Katie, we were talking a little bit before the show started, and you were talking about your journey, and I mean, you're a marketing person. You're in marketing. You're in school. You're getting your MBA in marketing. So how did you get into karate, and what was your reasoning for wanting to do that?
So I got into karate. I'm 5'2". I'm a very small lady. I float at 100 to 105 pounds. And I've always been really small. So my dad sat me down one day when I was 11 years old, and he was like, "Listen, Catherine." And I was like, "What's up, Dad?" He's like, "If someone ever touches your ass, you need to turn around and smack him in the face." And I was like, "Okay, all right, I can do that." So he's like, "In order for you to do that properly, we got to put you into martial arts." So I did karate for quite a few years. I wish I would have taken it more seriously as a kiddo, but also you're a kid. Like, life is only so serious. I actually didn't really start getting seriously into fitness until my freshman year of college. My dad had cancer. He was diagnosed with cancer. And as a person, the only way I felt like I could control what was going on with me and what was going on around me was by my eating habits. And so I formed really, really terrible eating habits and ended up with an eating disorder. I floated between about 70 pounds, and I was the same height I am today. So I was super sick. And this went all the way through high school, very sick, lost a bunch of my hair. And I ended up meeting my husband, super awesome. Shout out to Chad. And he's like, listen, this is not okay. And I was like, don't tell me what to do with my life. But he's like, I don't care if I have to sit with you through every meal, you're going to start eating right. And so I ended up getting back into martial arts, getting back into karate, and then starting jujitsu. And you can't be competitive and you can't do well at martial arts if you're not eating right. So I started getting seriously into fitness when I started my jujitsu journey and started getting back into karate about my freshman year of college. So about 6 years ago, which, like, shout out to my husband again, saving grace. So yeah, that's kind of how I started really seriously getting into it, because you got to feel that temple. Like you had said, you got to treat your temple well in order to be successful. So.
Des, Miss Only Gaines. What's up? It's just good to see you, Des. Man, I ain't seen you in like, I feel like a whole year. It's been a year.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Long time.
Can I get a flex on the bicep real quick, Des? Because that bad boy. See?
Wait, there's this one too. I'm just kidding.
So Des, man, what got you into the fitness game and making sure you take care of yourself?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I did gymnastics, cheerleading, softball, and I was, very active and shape. My metabolism was great. As soon as I got out of high school, those few years in between, I didn't realize how big I had gotten. I was drinking. It was Monday. Oh, you got to drink. Taco Tuesday. You got to go out. I was just hanging around with those kind of friends to where there was a drinking reason every day. And it was very bad. I gained like 30 pounds, and me thinking, having that mindset of, oh, I still have my high school body and I feel great. Maybe I just gained a little bit. One day, my grandma, they're just a little bit more honest with you. One day she just came around to me and she pinched my side. She did it like in a cute way and stuff. She's like, oh, you're getting chunky. And she's like, yeah, you're so beautiful. But in my mind, I was all, oh, okay. And then I really saw myself, and it was like the glass shattering. And I knew from there, all right, I need to get my life together. And I just started paying more attention to what I was eating and actually being more active. And then one of my friends that I used to do dental assisting with, she's like, hey, come to this gym. We do a lot of teaches you how to meal prep. It takes before and after pictures, portion control, and then you're working a different muscle group every day. And he did a lot of that. Coach, he taught me all of that and did a lot of the bodybuilding competitions and focus on the girls and stuff too. And you could see high quality stuff coming out of there. And so I was like, oh, I want to look like her and so forth. And so learning that portion control and everything like that, it just got me more into it. And then seeing those results, you just always, go back and forth to it, kind of like a yo-yo effect. But I feel now just trying to balance everything, because it's really hard to just eat right. You're 4 to 6 meals a day, and then you're, doing your cardio in the morning, and then you're doing that and jujitsu and all that balance. And then, you still want to have a social life. So yeah, I have a busy life, but I want to have fun, and I want to still be able to stay with my goals and my fitness goals and for my future. So.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw Juice come off of mute, man.
No, I did. I mean, I know we're going to talk about some of those challenges every now and then, but I definitely wanted to circle back and say, shout out Katie for like telling your story about what you deal with, because there's a lot of times where people won't be transparent what really got them into it and everything. So I'm really speaking on that, and it was good to hear that you had the support system. One of the things that we talked about in our mental health episode with the fellas last month during the mental health awareness is essentially really having a support system to get you through anything, and I think that's crucial for these type of journeys. So I definitely want to highlight that. But yeah, I know Des has been on and off and then getting on this journey and getting after it. So it's always cool to see people go along that path.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was tough. And a lot of it was like, oh man, dude, I don't have a problem. So admitting that I needed to get a better lifestyle was a really big thing. And then I loved that podcast y'all did. I listened to it. Really important. Y'all hit on a lot of really important topics, and that for sure, like having a support system, having Des has been such a great support system for me, especially on the days where I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling good. Like, I don't know if I can do this. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And shout out to Des, because she's like so wonderful. Great training partner.
Of course.
Since we're there on support system and the six of us on here, I think, with this being a fitness episode, let's talk about how important it is to have like-minded people around you, being ready, willing to push you. Like, for example, Drew telling me on the beach in Miami that my belly was a little too big, and then having B Money, challenging me on this watch every week. Yeah. Making sure that I'm hitting the gym, and I'm doing my cardio, and making sure, hey, send me a pic, bro. Where you at? What you eat today? That accountability. I can honestly say, if there was no accountability, I probably would have stopped about a month ago, because I'm tired.
Yeah, look, I would 100% agree with you. And I know one of the questions we're going to hit on is kind of rolls right into it, or like, what are the biggest challenges with you keeping up with that fitness piece? And I would 100% say that accountability and the support system, because there was a lot of time, and, Des kind of knows this, like when you were like walking around, like the job we worked in, everybody was like eating clean and working out. They were like leaving in the middle of the day to go work out and do all those type of things. And I mean, my crew during that time, everybody's like posting everything and doing their stuff. But like when you start losing that, and all you have is self-motivation, especially if you don't have anything to like work towards. Like, I know Q talked about it. He's still doing his bodybuilding. He still has a full company. Sorry, these rude people driving behind me. But it's it's like when you're working for just like aesthetics, that can only go so far without the appropriate support system. So I appreciate anybody in my life that does anything fitness, because it actually motivates me.
Yeah, I have to say, like Juice and Brandon, like that really helped me too, because I have been going to school, and so having to balance, like I still want to do working out, but then I was feeling like I was starting to take a step back, because I wanted to try and, do my homework and, do personal things and get caught up with that. And it was kind of hard, but with having those competitions that we would do on the Apple Watch, or even Katie, you'd be like, oh, I missed you at gym today, friend, maybe tomorrow. And then it made me feel like more motivated to do it. So yeah, definitely the accountability really been helping, and keeping it for 2 weeks, making it a habit again. It definitely helps.
Yeah. Hey, Q, because I know you do like your personal training and your coaching. Do you emphasize that support system where people getting back in there a lot, or how do you usually like approach that?
Like so with me doing competitions and with trying so many different clients, I create like a team atmosphere. So we feed off one another, whether we're competing or just working out. We make sure that we support one another. If we got any questions, we make sure we answer each other. If we don't know the answer, we look them up together. Things of that nature. So I really I like to put people in position to have that support system, because it's hard, especially when the people around you aren't doing what you're trying to do. And there's so many people that don't work out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that want to work out, but they need people, to motivate them, to keep them engaged, to keep them knowledgeable about what to do, about how to stay in shape, about how to reach their goals. So many people stop because they don't know how to reach their goals. So again, just implementing that team atmosphere and that coaching aspect, and just making sure everybody got what they need to.
AB Money, I got a question for you, man.
Boss.
So, how has having Captain America as a brother motivated you to get, because for a little while, you know what I'm saying, you fell off too. You know what I mean?
Hardcore.
So how has that push from Juice been for you to get back into the swing of things?
I think it's just always the standard. Again, I know we just talked about community, but also accepting that accountability. And before I hit on Jew, I actually had to, touch B for you, hit on something that you stated earlier that's even helped me as far as us just staying in competition. Like you can ignore your Apple Watch competitions if you want to, but every single time B just called me and be like, man, why you challenge me again? I thought we was going to take a week off, but you calling me after you already accepted it. So, it's kind of like, hey, I'm still going to jump in it. You got to make that choice. And so that's the one thing that I will say being related to Jew and how we just grew up, always hitting the gym, working out, having that high physical standard is that always standard and that accountability. One of our favorite scriptures and one we live by is iron sharpens iron. So I always think about it, like every single time I'm going in, it's like, I'm not going to be able to go around my brother and he's not going, shame me to, in all seriousness for like the mental health aspect, like, hey, life might be happening, but he is going to say, hey, bro, I see you picking up something there, or, make those little comments that's just like, I'm not saying this to you to always down you, but just to hold you to the standard that I know you need to be at and you want to be at, because we do want to live long, healthy lives as much as possible in what we can control.
One thing I want to piggyback on what you just said, man, on the iron sharpens iron piece. And since we're talking about accountability and having that support system, how hard is it as a person that works out to temper expectations almost? Like when you look at somebody like Q, who this is a lifelong journey that you've been on, man, and somebody comes into the gym and they want to get there right away. How do you talk? What's the structure of how you try to get them there without diminishing what they want to accomplish at the same time?
Hey, real quick, bro, before Q answer, I just want to say Q has a real smooth way of having a laugh at people. And then you're like, So I just want to point that out. No one, brother.
That ain't the only thing. So you could text Q and be like, hey, man, I'm trying to, get back in the gym and stuff. And he said, well, what you eating? And,
right.
And he hit you with the, he'll hit you with the, all right.
Before you give his political answer, I want to make sure I do highlight that you will laugh at me real quick.
Oh man, I forgot the question, man.
As fitness people, the same could be said for Katie and karate. People walk in and automatically want to be a brown belt or a black belt. People walk into the gym Q and automatically want to have a 6-pack of abs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People walk into jiu-jitsu Des and think they could just flip anybody. How can you talk about how it's we know it's a lifestyle and there's a science to it as well, but how do you talk to people to say you'll get there, but it's not an overnight thing?
I give them an example of myself, me being 12 years in. I show them why I started and I show them why I'm at now. And time in between, like it's not going to take 12 months. It's not going to take 12. It's going to take longer than that. Like it's going to take for you to you're never going to really reach your goal. You know what I mean? You're going to get there. You're going to create another goal. You're going to get there. You're going to create another goal. So it's just about enjoying the journey. And that's why I explain to all my clients about enjoying the journey and watching your body progress, watch your body improve over time. And really document it, taking pictures to keep yourself motivated. Like you say, a lot of people want to come to the gym and they want abs right now. Well, again, what you eat. How long did it take you to get to this point that you're in now? Just remember that, and it's just it's going to take just as long to get to where you want to be as far as physique wise. So I just think it's important to be realistic with people. You know what I'm saying? Sit them down and just tell them how I did it and tell them how long I've been doing it. You know what I mean? And from there, they should know, like, okay, well, if he started here and it took him 12 years to get here, well, let me start now. So I don't prolong my goals. So that's how I kind of explain to my clients coming in, just, enjoy the journey. It's not going to be a short bus ride. So it's a marathon, so.
I love the way you say, oh,
go ahead, Katie. That's what I was going to you next.
thank you, thank you. I love the way you say enjoy the journey, because that's like my trademark. I'm like, listen, it's a journey. Like, you can look up any like old martial artist, right? Like anyone, Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, they're always going to say like, it's a journey. And so I think especially with ladies in particular, they'll come in and they're like, listen, I want to learn self-defense now. I'm like, first of all, we're going to set attainable goals for you. Like, it's really important to have milestones, which is why like a lot of gyms, there's a ton of reasons why gyms do this, but one great one is they'll give stripes on belts. And it's because you feel like you've accomplished goals and you can feel that you're progressing, but you're also being reasonable with your success, right? And so I tell ladies, I'm like, listen, we're going to set goals. We're going to have reasonable expectations, and you're going to make the journey for yourself. If you're training for any other reason than to be the best version of yourself, you're going to fail because you're not enjoying the journey. So for me, I think, and especially like with jiu-jitsu, with karate, with any martial art you get into, or anything you put your mind to in general, like whatever you do in life, you have to be able to understand that it's going to be a journey. Nothing good comes in like, a few months. And you have to be willing to have that journey for yourself. And so for me personally, it was hard for me with jiu-jitsu. I was training with a bunch of people that were super good. And I was like, man, I want to be there. And finally, my coach sat me down and was like, listen, I know you came from another martial art. It doesn't really translate here. So you're going to have to reset that mindset of white belt and understand you got to enjoy your own journey. And after that, I was like, I love it. So I completely agree. You got to understand your journey and you got to enjoy it for what it is.
I think, and I can only talk about me, and I could throw B Money in there too, because that was one thing that we've talked about this time with restarting our gym and our fitness lifestyle, was that it's not, we're taking our time with it. It's not something that's an overnight success. You know what I mean? Making sure that we enjoy the grind of it and that we keep grinding versus, oh man, I've been working out for 2 months. I'm good to go. Let me go on a bender here and have eat a whole large pizza or something. You know what I mean? And that was the hardest thing for me. I would constantly start my journey. Since we're kind of talking about challenges, I would constantly start. And then 2 months down the road, I just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of getting up in the morning. I'm tired of going to the gym. There's so many excuses that excuses are tools of the competent, right? But damn it, I was using them every day. I ain't going to the gym today. I only got 3 hours of sleep, So what are some other challenges that you guys have had, in going to the gym and keeping up with this lifestyle?
I think for me, it was the injuries. I went in, going in Raging Bull, I'm going to do a competition 3 months into, maybe even 4 months into jiu-jitsu. And I did it, and it was a good accomplishment and it was a good goal. And, but then I got injured. And so I think that, and then along with COVID too, it was it just put me into a shock. And so, like you said, just resetting and having to go back and forth. And it was like, oh, well, just my shoulders hurt. So then I think I was making excuses for myself, and I'm like, well, I don't want to go because, just resting. And it turned into a little bit more prolonged. I'm like, oh, well, at first with COVID, I was like, oh, well, I don't want to go anywhere and stuff like that. But then it was just changing that mindset too. Like, you know what, I'm going to set baby goals. I'm going to run 2 miles, and then I'm going to turn to 3 to 4 to 5 every other day and so forth. And then I'm not just going to sit there and be dormant. I need to get my shoulders stronger so then I can get into more competitions and actually get back into the gym. So my thing too, I had to really sit down and be patient. I had to learn the patience and just say, and balance life and everything too. Yeah.
I think for mine, one of the biggest challenges is my children. And I say that primarily because they all my little homies, so whenever I'm in a moment, it's like, all right, I'm gonna go hit the gym at 3. And then when I go and get ready to hit the gym, then, you know, my youngest son comes around. He's like, Daddy, I'm stronger. And then he starts doing random stuff, shooting me with spider webs. And then, you know, then my other son comes in and he's like, Daddy, I want to be like you. And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. But at that moment, it like, oh man, or they're screaming and yelling and fighting, just being kids. So like, I'm trying to put out that fire at that time. Then 3 turns into 3:30. And then I plan to go at 3 because I have something to do at 4:15. So then it's like, man, by the time I get there, do this and do that, I'm just gonna have to try to get it in later. And then by the time I get done later in the day, I was like, I'll just pick it all up tomorrow. So, you know, just the impact, and my children are number one, but anything that seems to be a high priority in my life, if it can throw my schedule off a little bit. And that's why I try to get up and go to the gym before everybody wakes up or hit the Peloton. But like, that's always like those main things that trip me up. Those other just like household activities that feel like it's a higher priority, put the fire out.
I'll say, I agree with everything everybody else said, because I think a lot of people in life have very similar situations. And I think that's why it's good to have conversations like this, forums where other people see it. I'm pretty sure everybody on here has had other people say, it's so easy for you. You love doing it. I was like, no, it's not. It never gets easy. I was like, I enjoy doing it, but you don't always have time, or because you get hurt. You know, I'm an old middle injured athlete, middle 30s guy. So I have a lot of injuries, but, I fight through it when it makes sense, because you also don't want to fight through injuries. But anyways, one thing I would say that's hitting probably a lot of people right now, the challenge is, inflation, rising costs for everything. It was already expensive to eat healthy and maintain that lifestyle. So it's really, I think that really hits back to what everyone said before, realizing that it's a journey. Like maybe you couldn't go to a gym because of COVID, but you can go outside and run for free. You can walk for free, stay active. Like, yeah, maybe you can't get, like the healthiest meals, but you cannot eat trash. So it's just kind of one of those things that I've had to be mindful in those moments too, especially since I travel like every other week for work. And there's not always, if you land at 10 o'clock in Albuquerque, New Mexico, everything's closed. So what's left? McDonald's. So now I've started doing things like, well, I'm going to travel with this tuna pack, and then I'm going to try to go to sleep. So I'm bad with sleep. So that's probably the one thing that I always miss out on, because work is busy. But those are a lot of different challenges out there. They could all be excuses, but they're real life things. So it's like using that community and everything else that we've kind of talked about so far can kind of help you keep going, start and stop, and remember this journey.
Man, Ship, you just hit on something, man. Listen, the cost of eating right. Let me tell y'all something. My grocery bill has gone up $200. You know what I'm saying? I went from spending about $250, $300 a month maybe on groceries. I'm at $5 something, almost $600 a month. Just making sure that I'm getting the chicken packs and the brown rice, not the white rice, the brown rice. Or, you know what I'm saying? And not going to McDonald's so much. And I think that's the biggest challenge for me is, fast food. I'm on the road all day, every day as well with my job. And it's much easier to stop at Burger King or McDonald's, grab a McChicken with cheese, large fry, and a Coke, you know what I'm saying? Keep it pushing versus, the meal prep. Q, how do you, I've seen your videos, man, where you out on the grill on a Sunday and just with all the food, man. Can you walk us through your meal prep process?
Man, and it is getting so tough to meal prep now with time, as much as I've been traveling. So I've actually sourced out several meal prep services, just so I can make sure that I don't slip up. Because we've been traveling so much, it's easy to go out of town and just go out to eat every day. You know what I mean? But if I do meal prep, like I said, I hit up Aldi's. I would go to Aldi's and I would spend $100 and I would have food for a week and a half. You know what I mean? And like you said, I throw it on the grill, I portion it out, I throw it on the grill. And from there, I get my containers and I just lay it out. Portion control. And really depending on the time of the year, if I'm getting ready for a competition or not, will determine how much I eat. You know what I mean? So that goes into, my prepping as well. Whether it be a half a cup of rice or a whole cup of rice, so I gotta make sure that I know my plan ahead of time and know what I'm prepping and know why I'm prepping it. So I highly recommend, again, watching YouTube videos, finding the meal prep service. Like it's so many different options to eat healthy now. You don't have to stop at, the fast food restaurants. So I highly suggest is finding those sources. Like we all know a lot of people. We know people who cook. Like, it's hey bro, I pay you to cook my food for you. Like it's that easy nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So I just highly suggest just, getting the plan and sticking to it.
Look, that is like, that's crucial too. Like, everybody knows somebody that does cook or that enjoys doing that. Work a deal out with them, and that's valid advice. Somebody should actually do that. There's no excuses. There's always a way around it. And I think that kind of gets into like one of the other questions of, when did it become a lifestyle? And when you decide to go down a path and you really have certain goals that you want to do, you have to change your whole lifestyle. That includes budgeting. It's hard for everybody right now across the world with inflation and everything. But there are some times I love beer, especially during football season when my Cowboys are playing America's team. But it's kind of right. But it's kind of one of those things, like, I'll save my beer drinking for that one Sunday, and it's probably only a 6-pack instead of a 12-pack, because I know I need to buy that chicken breast. I need to buy everything for my green smoothies throughout the week, because it really has been a lifestyle for me. Because there's a lot of mental, there's a lot of different things that I'm not going to name for this episode, all the things you can get that endorphin and dopamine release from, but one of them are fitness. So that's important for me, and I know a lot of times why it's a big part of my lifestyle, and I've kept it in there, is because I can have, when I'm not working out, if I miss like 3 days in a row, I just realize that a lot of things are really starting to stress me, little things that I'm normally like even kill cool about, and I start realizing I'm missing that. And so it really is part of my makeup. So it's worth budgeting for, and waking up early for, and going to sleep late so I can ride the bike like I'm gonna do when we get off tonight. But it's just kind of one of those things, like, that's how you got to do it.
But you said something, I know we're in the living, when did it become like a lifestyle? It's always been, but there's some, I know we've talked about nutrition and actually like lifting and other forms of that fitness. But like the rest is the biggest, like the hardest part for me, because with being in such a fast pace and having to catch all of our shows, that's when I think over this past month, it started to transition back into that lifestyle, because with all of my activity is like, man, I have to go to bed, as it was mentioned earlier, like injuries and stuff like that, being able to get that minimum 6 hours of sleep. Like, I normally run off of 4 to 5, but I work out hard just because I love working out that hard. So my recovery is crap in comparison to the full lifestyle of it. But that's the biggest part that I realized that, and I'm not a scientist, this is not my job or all that, but I'm saying like those three folds, working out, nutrition, and your recovery is all the big three things that I'm always hearing, regardless of whatever you're reading. And so I think that it becomes a lifestyle when all three are in that, balance of effect. And that's what I've just started to transition into here recently, and seeing more results without as much output. In the gym, at least.
Hey man, you say you're not a scientist, bro. Science goes a long way.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I just, I just gotta put my qualifier, because I don't want, people hitting me up like, man, he's a Cowboys fan, so he knows best, and he's a noob, so he knows best, and I just have to put that out there. I'm not qualified like Brother Q over here.
Hey, we gonna keep throwing that Cowboys love out here, because we have, y'all, can I just say, we have a Green Bay Packers fan on the show.
Oh Lord. We have to stop. That's not good fitness mentally.
Listen, California Dreamboat, Mr. Aaron Rodgers over here gets put out in the first round every year. That's all I'm gonna say. Every year.
Listen, we can meet on the mats and we'll settle this like one-on-one. Be a good time.
Well, listen, I don't mind whooping an ass or two. But the way that you said it earlier about when your daddy said, if somebody slap you on the booty, and you got to know, I'm scared. I'm literally, I'm not about that life. So yeah.
Respect it. It's all right.
So the main, I know we were kind of talking about when it became a lifestyle, but there's a question that I've been dying to ask this entire time before the premise of this episode. And I got two ladies on here, and really for Q too, because there's a stigma out there about bodybuilding. So here's the question. What are some of the false perceptions about women in the gym, women that like to work out, bodybuilding? Is it healthy for you? They say natural competitions. Is it natural? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's some stuff out there that we've all heard and that we've all kind of been a part of. I would love to hear y'all's take on this question.
Oh man, listen, I could get on a, you were talking about being on a soapbox earlier. If I had one thing that I get on a soapbox about, it's women in martial arts and women in the gym. I think if I had to like boil it down to the two things I always think, the first one is that people assume that martial arts or fitness is not inclusive, that it's for a specific genre of people. Like the best time to start your journey is today. And that's it. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It can be fitness, it can be martial arts. You're going to go into the gym and there's going to be guys that look great, but there's also going to be the people who just started today. So that's the first thing. The second thing is specifically for ladies that it's not ladylike to do martial arts. And I'm here to tell you that when you are in a self-defense scenario and someone's like, well, oh, you train this. I'm like, you're not going to be thinking about what's ladylike or not. You're going to be thinking what's the best way to protect myself. And so that's a pet peeve for me. I've actually had people, I kid you not, I had a pastor's friend DM me and tell me that it was not ladylike for me to be on the jujitsu mats with other men. And I was like, listen, I don't care what you have to say, because if I need to defend myself, I'm not going to be acting ladylike. So for all the ladies that might be listening to this podcast, do not ever let anyone tell you that it's not ladylike or it's not a woman's place. Because it definitely is. And above all, women should be taking these classes because women need to know how to defend themselves. That's a really big thing. A lot of gyms will tell you that. And it's important. Besides the fact that it's super fun, you're going to make great friends. It's important that you have the ability to feel safe no matter where you are, especially in these like days and times. So those two things, fitness is very inclusive. Start today. And martial arts doesn't matter if it's not ladylike, do them.
Do you think, and maybe I know you said you're married, and Des, you could hop in on this question too. Do you think men are intimidated by the fact that there's two women that could basically kick you at? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it an intimidation factor?
There is a little bit, and to be fair, I think that a lot of my family is very like hardcore Southern Baptist, so it took a lot for them to get used to the fact that I was rolling with people that weren't my husband, but my husband's the one that got me into jujitsu. He's like, listen, you like to grapple. He has a little bit of wrestling background, so we would grapple together. Our full living room was covered in mats at one point, and he's like, you're really good at this. You should do it. And so I do think though that it's kind of a little bit of a stigma from that, because if you walk into a jiu-jitsu gym, you're really close. You're like, men are going to be on top of women, but you have to get out of that mindset and realize that you're here for a purpose, and like sex, none of that's like being factored into the equation. But yeah, I would definitely say, especially people that are new to the jiu-jitsu gym. Des and I are both blue belts. I have about 2 years of experience. I know Des and I started training about the same time. And so there are people that come in, they're like, I want to put a whooping on these people. And that's just something you have to deal with. That's picking your partners wisely. That's understanding that there's going to be people that go in there for the wrong reasons. But I always giggle. I am, again, 5'2", 100 pounds. There are guys that I will not train with because they don't like to lose. And I would rather know that and put that aside and say, all right, I'm just not going to roll with you, than get hurt because they do something stupid because they don't want to roll with me. So it's a give and take sort of thing. Des, what do you think?
Yeah, I think too, like, you kind of pick your favorites on like, you understand how they roll. You don't get injured with that certain person every time. So you're more comfortable and trusting with certain people. And like a lot of people that will come in, especially guys, they don't want to lose to a girl. So of course it's like us going in there, trying to roll and trying to, do the training and start, but then, seeing that they get to, they'll start getting more like, oh, I'm going to use my strength. And it's like, of course you're going to win or of course you're going to flip me over. Like you're all muscle, and so there is a difference with like live rolling where we're actually using a little bit more force. I want to say like 60% ish with your partner. And then there's another thing called flow rolling. And a lot of people don't know what that is. Like, whenever we are rolling together, we're doing the moves and we're it's almost like a dance, how I feel, as you're like, going around and doing moves and practicing, but you're not necessarily like getting into the full submission or actually making that person tap out. And so I think a lot of people will not take that into consideration and just kind of like push you around, or the new white belts just want to like show off and be like, oh, like when I first got into it, I worked out every day and I was like, oh, I can push this person, I can take this person down, because I have a lot more muscle and this and that. But it is when you're working out, you're doing a lot of pushing, and I wasn't doing a lot of the pulling action. And so whenever I learned jujitsu, it is a lot of this give and take of push and pull. So then I started doing more like resistance training and stuff like that. One of the perceptions too that just a random one was like when you go into the gym and then you see people with abs and muscle and they're just walking all big, like everyone assumes, oh, they're just doing steroids. And it's like people are so judgmental. And I think that's like one of those things that, why people don't like going to the gyms, because it's like a lot of girls that will come up to me that are like, oh my gosh, Des, you motivate me. I want to be like you. I want to look just like you. Or I want to, have that same routine. But I want to lose 10 pounds before I start going to the gym, because it's just that anxiety and having to go in because they just feel like, no, you have to look good in order to go to a gym, when that's not true. And then a lot of people too will also say, oh, well, that person is all muscle and everything. So they're dumb and, they're just, muscle people. And, you know what I mean? And so a lot of people just, again, like start judging, and it's like, why can't you have that relationship, whether it's a friendship or even something a little bit more, because in reality, like that person can be like one of your close gym friends that gets you back into the gym, or like, helps you become more goal oriented, or like just keeps you focused, and you can carry all those groceries in one trip, and it's like, so I think mainly the judging part and just not judging by cover, and giving people a little bit more chance too. But some of my perceptions.
All right, Q, I know you got some, man, because listen, we've all heard them about bodybuilders. So I'm ready to hear what you got to say on this. I think you on mute, brother. So
I mean, well, Q, he's a Kappa man, so he's a pretty boy and he's a meathead. I mean, that dude is stuck up and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I don't care what he has to say.
Exactly what it is. So I guess we can touch on so in bodybuilding, there's untested and there's tested organizations. Your tested organizations you can free will, go to the doctor, get the drug test, get your blood work, and do what you want to do with it. You know what I mean? And then you have what I do, which is your tested bodybuilding. So we do a 3-panel to a 5-panel drug test, and that test is for growth hormones, TRT, different kind of steroids that enhances your growth. And from there, once you are a natural bodybuilder, if you take any of those things and you win a competition, you test it soon after you get off stage. There's no in between time. There's no leaving the venue and coming back again trying to take a test. You test as soon as you come off stage. And from there, we send the drug test in the next day. So we get that 3 to 5 panel test back within the next couple of weeks, and we see the results from each competitor, whether it's female or male, whether he or she has taken any kind of growth hormones, steroids, or anything of that nature. So that's how we determine your natural versus your unnatural competitors. And like I said, I've been doing it for 12 years. You have some people take off all seasons, and you can tell, when they decide to come back, that they, decide to do something different. It's usually shown
whether it be acne on the back or bumps or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Usually can tell isn't, living up to the natural athlete standard. And it's a respect thing too, man. You want to earn the respect of your comrades, your friends, and the other athletes. So to come in and cheat, and get caught, you you put on a wall where wall of shame to where you're not welcome in the natural community anymore. So it comes down to, again, like I said, respect yourself and respect those around you. But like I said, we go all out just to prove that we are natural. You know what I'm saying? We like I said, we'll test you around sometime. We get tested random sometime, just to prove that we're natural. Because again, the payouts are starting to rise. So with that being said, we want to make sure that we are paying the right people, and the right athletes who are working hard. Coming to a natural competition, natural.
So, last question of the night, man. I'm gonna go around the panel. We're gonna talk about our goals.
Hey, I do want to throw one real quick thing on the perceptions piece.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, my bad. Shit.
No, it's all good because of the like bodybuilders. I know there's like females in bodybuilding. Q, you probably deal with this, and anybody that's in the gym, if a female's fit or anything. I think we've gotten past the stereotype of like a woman that's in shape is like a meathead or stuck up or something like that. But I mean,
I don't think we've gotten past that shit.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up.
I want to give you some pushback on that.
Yeah, I know.
You don't see women like I know women that won't lift weights to this day because they feel like they don't want big arms.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want us to have this conversation and then not touch on that stereotype that should be 100% debunked.
Yeah, me seeing a female that work out, that lets me know she takes care of herself. You know what I'm saying? That lets me know that she cares about her body. You rarely see me with anybody that doesn't work out. Like it just doesn't fit my demeanor. It doesn't fit doesn't fit me. You know what I mean? Like people I'm around, we in the gym. Like we take care of our bodies. We look good. Like we gonna go to the beach in the wintertime. Like you know what I mean? Like it shows a form of caring for yourself to me. So I love shapely women. I love women who take care of themselves. So I personally don't agree with a female not being able to work out. Or looking like a man when she work out. Like have y'all ever seen a chick in the off season coming off a competition? Like they shape different. Like it's different, man. We take care of yourself. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it.
Can I ask you a question, Q?
Yes, sir.
Can you debunk something for me? Women that lift weights, man, like doesn't that help them get in shape faster than?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A professional is saying this.
Yeah.
Ladies, lifting weights is not a bad thing.
It's not. When you do decide to have kids and you lift weights prior to being pregnant, it's so much easier for you to snap back. It's so much easier for your body to snap back. When you've built a certain amount of muscle and you gain that weight during pregnancy, you lose it so fast when you coming out that pregnancy, man. So I saw that first thing with my kids' mother. So she had twins, and right, she feel like she got kids right now. You know what I mean? Because she took care of herself beforehand and needed more output. So it's I definitely I highly suggest women work out. Highly suggest women work out. It's gonna help you protect yourself, it's gonna help shape your body, it's gonna help your confidence. And if somebody don't like it, that somebody isn't for you. You know what I'm saying? Go find somebody that like it. It's plenty of people who like it out here. So the one who don't trip off the comments, don't trip off negative attention, it's gonna come whether you in shape or not. So you just gotta choose your road.
Big fact.
Yeah, there was a girl at my gym that I saw that she was already well along in her pregnancy and she was lifting heavier than me and she was getting after it. And it was just so motivating to see that. And I really enjoyed, yeah, you get a lot of people I would see like staring at her like, oh my gosh, she's not supposed to be doing that. And it's like, she's had like 3 kids and each one she did that. And so it's like, she was healthy enough to be able to do that. And like, told my dad to get him motivated to get in the gym and, get out of those bad habits and stuff too. And so it's like, he can't just go like right into lifting as heavy as he wants to. He's going to strain something. He's going to tear a tendon and stuff like that. So it's just that gradualness. And yeah, it's really cool to see that.
I think like with perceptions of women in the gym, I absolutely agree. I think like I'm a proponent. I'm in a few different like BJJ groups for women, and a lot of them talk about rolling while pregnant because it's good for you. It's not good for you to lay down and just go through your entire pregnancy being completely inactive unless you're on doctor's orders. Like it's good for you to be active. But with stereotypes and perceptions, I think that the only people that are afraid of strong women are intimidated by the fact that these women look better than they do. And so for me, I always giggle. I actually had someone DM me one time on Instagram. And mind you, this was right after getting into my recovery phase. I've always been blessed with very solid shoulder genetics. And I had someone DM me from an anonymous account and they were like, just so you know, you have man shoulders and it's not very cool of you. And I was like, just so you know, I'm complimented by that because I can lift heavier than you can. Like I don't. And so for me, I always giggle when people are like, oh, these women shouldn't look this way. They shouldn't work out this way. I'm like, there's no reason to be ashamed of being strong. There's no reason to be ashamed of being into fitness. The only people that are talking about that are people that don't want to go and do it and are intimidated. So I know we've brought up the word intimidated a lot. And I really think that's where a lot of that comes from. Intimidated by the fact that these women are getting out there and doing what they want. So. Yeah.
Those securities, I get a lot of like, oh, you're working out too much. You're overdoing it. And I'm like, I'm not you, like, just because you feel that way, this is my own goals. These are everything that I want to do. So I hate when people try and put something negative into something that is positive and mentally, physically, like just overall. So hopefully we can get past that.
Real quick beat before you get to the last question. When you just said you're overdoing it, and sorry, Jude, smirk. It takes me to my one of my idols in the gym, CT Fletcher, where he says, what is overtraining and stuff like that. So, hey, always go watch CT Fletcher. He'll definitely motivate you.
Hey, I got a CT Fletcher, like, it's not a song. It's just him talking on that's on my playlist. And he, come on, motherfucker.
like, CT, that's my guy.
Like you hear that in your ears, you're like, go ahead, throw that 225 on the bench. It's like, I'm the Incredible Hulk today. So yeah. But, yeah, it's not even a song, bro. And it's just, I can listen to it. That's my pump up music right there. Him put that weight on that motherfucker. You like, ah! So, all right, sorry. So last thing I want to get to, man, is everybody's goals, man. We've talked a lot about this being a journey, and a never ending journey. So I'm gonna go around the room and see, and even Q said it. You set a goal, you accomplish it, and you kind of move on to the next one. So I'm gonna put some time on it. In the next 6 to 12 months, where does everybody want to be within this fitness journey? I'm gonna start with B Money.
So overall, of course, just back to my health. I want to drop 30 pounds over this next year, but do it the way that's healthy. In the past, I've been able to 1 week go hit the gym hard and drop 10 pounds, but stick within those regulated numbers of that, like, I think they say for men 3 to 5, women 2 or something like 2 to 3 based on that. So not focusing, I know some weeks would be better, but just staying more focused on the full lifestyle. Because I know it directs a lot of other things in my life, of even just having more energy to enjoy the blessings that I do have in my life, such as money and my children and family, wife and children, being able to enjoy them in the fullest capacity. And I'll say this and I'll be done. Me and my brother always talk about it. Like, I'm not trying to be that person that's sitting on the sideline when my kids is in sports. And also on top of that, not being able, because I'm 100% disabled vet. And, I don't want to be in that position where it's like, now I can't go throw a football with my kids or play basketball. So That's my goal, is to drop weight and just be in the full health, back into my full iron sharpens iron mentality, and motivate other people to, be where they need to go.
Appreciate that, B. Juice. Next 6 to 12, bro.
Yeah, pretty much a lot of things, same things that B just said. And a lot of my stuff, everything I do in life is incremental. Like I'm always looking to the end goal and how do I do what I can right now to get to that goal. And one of my biggest goals is I want to be a great grandpa, being able to cross, like one of my grandsons or granddaughters up on the court and go to the gym and lift some weights with them. We didn't really get into like what kind of motivated us on like our end, but one of those things was my pops, like working out in the gym with us, and then we took that off with our sports and kept on going. So I want to be able to do that throughout the generations. I want to be that old dude in the gym that, like, when you walk in the locker room and he's just standing there naked having a full conversation with you, and then he leaves out in his hoochie daddy shorts, so I'm doing everything I can until then, and taking care of my mental health, to be able to like continue to work out, work 14-hour days, look after the family and all extended family and all that and all kind of stuff. So whatever that looks like, I'm gonna keep on doing it next 6 to 12 months.
Appreciate it. Katie, next 6 to 12 months, what goals do you have and where do you want to be?
All right. So we were talking about challenges, and y'all, my biggest challenge is food, dude. Like, I love junk food. A lot of my safe foods, I don't know if y'all are familiar with that term, but kind of like when you're going into eating disorder recovery, you have these safe foods that you can eat at any point. All of mine are junk food, like nasty, greasy chicken wings and McDonald's. Like, McDonald's is my vice, dude. So for me, I've been trying super hard to cut back on that. It's a challenge. It really is. So my goal is, again, to continue to work forward to eating better. I know it's not easy, and that's a big thing with your journey. So easy to stop and drive when you don't want to cook at night. Sometimes we get home from the gym at like 9 o'clock, and you just got to be willing to do that. So that's a goal of mine. Another goal of mine, and this one is the 6 to 12 months, which is really exciting. For the past few, like 4 or 5 months, I've been floating at 100 to 105, which is the heaviest I've ever been. Super exciting. And I want to get to 105 to 110. So that's kind of my really big goal, which I know 5 pounds does not sound like a lot, but my metabolism is crazy high. I'm super active, and then just in this recovery process. So we're really hoping to that 105 to 110 range. And then eventually 115 is where I want to be at. Competing weight would be great at 115. So that's what we want.
Nice. We're going to check in with you in 6 months, see where you're at.
I know. I like those SMART goals, like very incremental, and it's like that's huge. 6 to 12 months. That's a good goal.
Thank you.
All right, Q.
Man, I got too many goals. So I have several events over the next couple of months. So of course I plan to make those events world class. August 6th we'll be in Dallas, Texas, Arlington, Texas. September 3rd we'll be in St. Louis, Missouri. September 17th I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia. November the 12th, I'll be in Fort Lauderdale, Coral Springs, Hollywood, Florida area. We'll be trying to lock in a location for that event now. All natural bodybuilding events, but I'm also competing myself. October the 7th in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'll be competing in the Mr. America competition. It'll be my second time competing. I competed in the last year. I didn't place top 10 or top 5, unfortunately. So I actually want to win it this year. That's my goal, to go win it. That, as well as compete November 19th in Houston, Texas at the GBO Natural Atlas. So I have 2 competitions planned this year. I want to add one more just for the hell of it. But yeah, that's my goal, is to continue to push hard and go win those competitions and really, elevate my status, you know what I mean, as far as being one of the best natural bodybuilders, but being one of the best natural bodybuilders in the world, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the goal. That's
That's what's up, man. Hey, and before I go to Dez, man, if y'all want to see what a posing video looks like, go check out Q's Instagram, man. I mean, he's got some posing videos to some music and stuff. You have one out there where you didn't even practice. You just went on stage and kind of just winged it.
Yeah, that was the last one I did back in November. I went to the DJ before I got on stage. I'm like, what you got? He was like, I got look at the iPad. Look at the iPad. He had Kanye flashing lights. I chose it. I went on stage and that was probably one of the best freestyles I've ever done with my poetry routine. I used to practice a lot, but I've done it. I've been doing it for so long that I can hear the music. I can feel my body flow and it looks good now. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to just practice it though. You know, for those newcomers. But yeah, I'm to the point now, so I can just go out there and have fun with it. You know what I'm saying? And I repost that so everybody can go check it out. You know, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Go ahead and repost that one, man. I even let mom see that one. She was like, "Oh,
yeah.
He was liquid with the shoulders, you know, back in the stroll-ons back in the day. So it's just natural to hop on the pose, huh?
And I was thinking that too. I tried to shimmy the other day. My shoulders got so big. It looks so funny now.
Well, same for my belly, man. I can't do it because. All right, Des. Next 6 to 12 months, where you want to be at?
Well, Q's going to be doing all of our meal plans. So you know what? Staying on track with that. No.
Yay.
Yeah, staying active 6 to 12 months. I definitely want to be at between 5 and 8 pounds lighter than I am currently, because in jiu-jitsu, in the competitions, you have to fight at a certain weight, and it's usually about 9 to 10 pounds that you're in your ranges of the category. And so every competition that I've done, I've had to cut at least 6 to 16 pounds. And so I've been able to do it every time. But the only thing is that, you know, from cutting and doing it in a healthy way and everything, it takes a lot. And I want to go into a competition with not having to drop that much weight and not feeling so depleted, and not feeling like if I do get second or third, it's because I wasn't in, like, I just felt weaker, or, you know, I don't want that to be anything in my head. So of course, maintain my weight after that, and then continue jiu-jitsu, continue to keep crushing that, doing more competitions. And then actually in a year, my cousin and her wife, they do this 200-mile bike ride. It's 100 miles one day, and then the next day it's another 100 in California. And they did it this last year, and it was really motivating. And I'm not sure exactly what it was called, but it was in San Diego. And so crushing those goals with the bike, you know, getting out there and doing like 10 miles here and there in between all of my other exercises and stuff. And then I know definitely, like, with the bike riding, it is going to help with my endurance in jiu-jitsu and in the gym. Possibly a Spartan race. I've always wanted to do something like that. Yeah, just to stay active. I want to have that body to where it's Christmas time and I don't fall off the wagon so much, because we're in New Mexico. We make tamales, and we have, you know, all the Mexican food and sweets and everything. And I tend to be good all the way up till Halloween, and then blow it all. And then here I am, January to March, like busting my butt for something that, you know, I could have had maintained. So yeah, those are my goals.
Yeah.
Well, for myself, I will say, for those that watch the Smoke and Sip podcast, my brother and I have had an open challenge. He seems to think that he beat me in the 200-meter dash back in high school, which I don't ever remember losing a race in high school, my senior year. So our goal is to go out to the track and race a 200-meter dash. And I would like to do that without dying at the end, 6 to 12 months. And then also a big goal of mine is I've never weighed as much as I do now. Even though walking around, people say it looks good on me, because I used to, for those that used to know me, I was 140, 150 pounds soaking wet, all skin and bones. But I would love to get down to about 205. If I get back to about 205, I think I'll carry that a little bit better. So by the end of the year, if I could be 205 and y'all can see that that race of the 200-meter dash between my brother and I. And if I could come through at like 23, 24 seconds, I'll be good. I'll be all right.
I'm gonna ask you. You got to drop what that weight is right now. You take it down to 205. I mean, you gotta put the weight out there what it is right now, and then everybody can see this goal. And
as of this morning, my guy, I am sitting at. So I started off 2 months ago. I started off at right around 260, 256, 260. I'll say that. And as of this morning, I stepped on the scale and I was 242.
Come on, man. Come on, no.
Hey, you get in there. Keep on getting there.
Yeah. So I'm getting there, man. I'm not running anymore. I stopped running. I walk about 4 or 5 miles every day, on top of hitting the weights and hitting the iron. So I'm getting there, man. My 36s are now fitting me. I've left the 38s.
Hey, B, why are you so focused on your legs?
Huh?
Why are you so focused on your legs?
Man, I got these hoochie daddy shorts that I got. I'm out here thotting. You know what you talking about?
I let you get your plug in, man. I know it's your biggest focus right now.
Hey, no lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. I went and got a massage the other day, right? So, and then I'm gonna end the show. I went and got a massage the other day. And she's been massaging me now for a couple months. And she was working on the back of my legs. And she said, "Hey man, I ain't trying to check you out or nothing like that, but your booty is bootying." I said, "What you say?" She said, "Your booty is booty, and it got a little thick back there. Be careful now." I said, "Hey, that's what I like to hear." This has been a wonderful. Round of applause. Round of applause. Listen, for this to be the very first episode of In the Cut.
They should have fireworks behind me. You know, they celebrating the end of the episode. It was successful.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate y'all joining us, man. There might be some in the future here. We might have to come back in 6 or 12 months and make sure and see how them goals worked out. Des, always great seeing you. Katie,
I'm
glad to meet you. You are wonderful. Keep that bubbly personality, man. You brought the energy. I love it. Q, my guy, it's good seeing you, man. I ain't seen you in years, bro.
I miss y'all, man.
Man,
Good time.
it's been too long. We're gonna have to get together. Yeah. Always the fellas. Yes, I talk to y'all every day, man. It's good. Y'all regular smuggler. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed. We out.
Likewise.
Hi, guys.
All right, take care.